Hello, everybody. I'm just going to do another sort of a ramble today. I just had sort of a fit on Facebook. And this brought me to what I'm going to talk about. What occurred to me is that's another reason why I don't really want to accept people from YouTube onto my real Facebook page. I have a second Facebook page, as I mentioned, that I want for people, if they're interested from YouTube, to join that page, because on my real Facebook page, which some of you have sent me friend requests, and again, I'm sorry, but I did not accept them, is because it's almost like I'm a different person on my real Facebook page. I'm on YouTube, and that sort of shows how you can be different person in different environments. So, for example, on YouTube, I'm nice, and I sew and I make patterns, or I try to do ASMR, or I have this channel. I talk about dating. I state topics that are nice and not too controversial, and I do that on purpose because I kind of feel you need to escape from, everyone needs to escape from real life. I mean, real life. The things I talk about are real life too, but you have to escape from the stress of politics and of war and, controversies. So in my case, I happened to find that for myself on YouTube when I started doing the sewing and, kind of branched out. So my thinking is, if some of you were to actually really be on my real Facebook page, where I do post about politics, and sometimes I get very agitated and I get sarcastic, and I'm going to try to keep my voice down, and I get angry, and I don't insult people. I don't go that far, but I really voice my strong opinions on different issues. And I think that the YouTube people would be disappointed. They'd say, like, hey, my gosh, I thought she was laid back and chill, and she's like this. Sometimes I also on Facebook try to post nice things, but sometimes I get really agitated about, what's going on in the Middle East and things like that. And my views. Everyone has their opinions and their views, and, one must learn to control their anger about issues and just try to vote the way you're supposed, you vote based on what you believe. But sometimes you just get a little agitated. So that's why I'm directing any of you who are interested in being my friend on Facebook to my other Facebook page, which I will post below. So far, not many people have gone to that page. Maybe, I mean, I'm not even really doing anything with that page. It's sort of an idea in my head that it could turn into something, but the only plan I have for that page is that it's going to be a safe haven where we're not going to talk about, we can talk about anything we want on that page. We can post anything we want, with the exception of things that are going to stir controversy, because we can get that everywhere. We don't need a new Facebook page about politics or about, issues or prejudice or, all the horrible things, or, all the controversial things. So that's why. But I really don't know what. I mean, we also don't need another Facebook page that's, let's just post cute little animals, there's plenty of those too. So so I kind of don't know what that page, if it's going to turn into anything I don't know what. Maybe it could be a. I was thinking maybe it could be a Facebook page where you post pictures of interesting things that you saw that day. Like sometimes I see a lot of very interesting things on my commute to work. Since I take public transportation, I'm on the actual street. Whereas people who drive to work, I'm sure that's wonderful. It's very comfortable, especially when it's raining. But you don't see everyday things as much because for some people, the only time until the weekend that they're actually out of doors is if they're commuting to work by public transportation, in the city. Otherwise, you're in your house, especially winter up in the north. You're in your house. You get in your car, you get to work, you're inside the whole time. You're in a car, you're in the house, you're in the office, and maybe on the weekend you go out, or whatever your days off are. But so if you're a commuter by public transportation, you're walking between trains and between cars, and at least in my case, and in Miami, of course, where the weather's a little bit easier to deal with, except during hurricane season. I walk a few blocks to the bus stop from my house. So there I see things, I might see a little cat, that sits outside someone's house every morning, or I'll see lizards running or doing things, or bugs or toads, or you see little animal life, for example, or you might see something else, sure, a lot of things about nature. When you're walking along, maybe some people have fruit trees in their front yards. So, there's some fruit, and it's probably stealing, but they've got so many, Sometimes I'll yank off a star fruit, for example, because now the star fruit trees, it appears to me that they bear fruit twice a year. So I'll be walking along, someone's got a tree in their front yard, the fruit's just hanging there, it's ripe. Mostly, when you have a fruit tree, those of you who have ever had one, all that stuff usually goes to rot because it falls on the ground and you're not home, and then the ants get to it, and so you might get a few good fruits, but usually most of that fruit goes to waste. So I'm not saying you got to get up on somebody's tree and steal all their fruit, but I don't know, maybe that's stealing, I don't know. But I yank off a fruit or two sometimes, like on my way to work. I don't know. I think if I had a fruit tree in my front yard, I don't know. Now, should I be feeling guilty now? And I'm wondering, I always try to pride myself that I'm not a hypocrite. Because, of course, I'm against stealing and but I'm kind of thinking it's like the same argument. When you've got a fruit tree, but the branches are hanging over your neighbor's yard, does your neighbor have a right to those fruits? You know what I mean? So I'm thinking the fruit tree is in the person's front yard. Okay, it's in the yard. It's not hanging onto the sidewalk. So it's actually legally, let's say, in their yard. But it's right there, I don't know. Well, I'm going to continue occasionally taking a fruit off someone's tree. See, I just went off on a whole other tangent. I didn't mean to get into the morality of stealing fruit, but anyway, what I was trying to say is you see a lot of things. Well, so the original point was, so maybe people who do commute to work I did actually try to start a page like this once before. I invited commuters from around the world, and it never took off because, you got to really push the thing. Commuters from around the world to take pictures of things they've seen on their commute to or from work. And it would be so interesting, in different parts of the world. And so I was thinking maybe this page that I'm talking about, that we could start, that could be one of the things. Yeah, maybe you're walking to work, you see something interesting. Like, one time I was coming home from work, and there was an egret sitting on top of somebody's car. I have that picture. Maybe I'll post that picture. It's just an egret. I don't know. There's different kinds of egrets in Florida. I don't know if it was a snowy egret or a giant egret, or, they all look the same to me. I like nature, but I'm not too detailed sometimes. But you have different kinds of egrets. So this was a medium size. Actually, I think I'll post that picture here on this YouTube video. He was just kind of standing there on the person's car. I'm not sure what his reason. Well, he just found a nice place to land. You know, he's flying around. So, or just things that maybe are no big deal to me, or because I'm used to seeing those kind of things. But it doesn't occur to us. Something that's commonplace where you live, to people in other parts of the world, is like, oh my gosh, look at that. That's so interesting. Like squirrels, for example. There are some parts of the world that don't have squirrels. Like in Argentina, they don't have squirrels. So when visitors, like my family or friends, come to visit from Argentina, and we don't even have that many squirrels in Florida, those gray ones, and the ones you do see, they're really skinny because they don't have to get fat for winter, so they're just kind of skinny. They're not like as cute as the northern squirrels. So to me, that's commonplace. I grew up in the north. I saw squirrels all over the place. It was no big deal. But to someone in another part of the world, oh my gosh, what is that? That's so cute, Or red squirrels or black squirrels, which are even more rare. Like to an American, at least where I grew up, if you saw a black squirrel or a red squirrel, you were like, oh my gosh, look at that squirrel. It's a different breed of squirrel, but they're not as common as the gray ones. And which is why the squirrels at the White House are so popular with the tourists, because they're very friendly. The ones around the mall area and by the White House, because there's so many tourists that throw them nuts and things, and they're fat. They're so cute. To us, like Americans, we'll see these tourists feeding the squirrels and being like, oh my gosh, he's so cute, and be taking pictures of him. I used to kind of chuckle when I'd walk to work from there too, and I would see to get to work from my house, I would walk by the White House, right across, right in the front. And I would chuckle just seeing the tourists, get all crazy about things that I thought were so common. Or the like here in Miami, the Norwegians come here in this time of year, and people in Miami are like, oh my gosh, it's so cold, and they don't go in the water, and maybe it's like 60 degrees or something, or 65, on a cold day. And then we see the Norwegians screaming, yelling, running towards the sea. I've been thinking maybe I should. Well, now it's really cold. I doubt even the Norwegians are. They have that snowstorm in the north now, so the cold is the chill has gotten down here too. So probably even now the Norwegians wouldn't go in the water. But there are days that are pretty considered balmy, maybe to someone in the north. And when you get used to living in the heat, a 60-something degree day is cold, So, I need to get a picture of that. It's January is the time, but this week I maybe stop by the beach and, you might see a Norwegian or Swede or one of those Scandinavians, Canadians even. Swimming in the ocean. They're all pasty white. I'm sorry, I don't want to laugh but they're pretty funny looking. I mean, I'm white too. I'm probably pretty pasty looking. I don't usually tan, so. But okay, stop. I shouldn't be making fun of people. Anyway, they're skinny. They're really tall and skinny and pasty, so. They look like noodles. So anyway, well, that's all I have to talk about. Subscribe to my Facebook page. Let's see if we can get like a commuter photo page going. Like any interesting, non-controversial photo you see, post it. Okay, thanks for listening, guys.